On the day of the engagement party, my fiancée said she'd be there in 2 hours. Then a local news alert popped up about a newlywed found in a car with another man, needing CPR. Everyone at the party saw it. They laughed silently and gave me odd looks. While they were waiting for my embarrassment to show, an old friend, Lucy, came up to me. She pulled out a ring and proposed, saying she'd marry me and be my happiest wife. I thought she was my salvation. I willingly became the silent man behind her, building her dream business empire. 5 years later, on the eve of a new product launch, I overheard her and a doctor friend talking. "Do you really think you can hide a miscarriage from Howard?" Lucy, touching her belly, looked sad. "I have to hide it. Howard doesn't know about my pregnancy. I wanted to have a child with Felix, but he was too rough and I lost it. If Howard finds out you're putting hormones in his milk and got pregnant by Felix, he might go crazy." Lucy sighed with a bitter smile. "I don't care anymore. I just want to make Felix happy. It's worth it. As for Howard, I've spent enough of my life on him. The effort I put in all these years was just one-sided. The love I dreamed of was an illusion. So I decided to give up. You're being so unfair to Howard. He's been so good to you. Your company's success owes a lot to him. What did Felix do to make you risk such a great guy like Howard? Is it worth it?" Lucy looked torn. "I don't know if it's worth it. Seeing Felix happy is enough for me, even if I have to love him secretly. I want to compensate Howard with money. If we can't have kids, we'll adopt." Her friend sighed. 5 miscarriages for Felix? You'll ruin your ability to have kids. End it soon." Lucy, holding her head, said, "I know. After having a child for Felix, I'll focus on Howard." As I stood there, my hand pulled back from knocking. Coffee spilled on the floor. Hearing footsteps, I retreated to the kitchen. For 5 years, I thought Lucy's miscarriages were my fault for not taking good care of her. I felt guilty, even cried secretly at night. But now I know none of those kids were mine. The miscarriages were because Felix didn't care for her physical health. Her promises were just stories she told me. It's ridiculous that I believed them. My presence provided cover for her affair with Felix. Nothing more. Wiping my tears quickly, I turned around when I heard footsteps. "Why are you just standing there, honey?" "Lily wants her coffee," Lucy said suspiciously, staring at me. Forcing a smile, I replied, "I spilled it by mistake. Was going to make a new one." She noticed my red eyes and hugged me. "What's wrong? You look like you've been crying." I hid my pain, shook my head. "Just got news from tech. Our car AI system is ready." "I'm happy." "Really? That's amazing." She kissed my cheek excitedly. 5 years of work paid off. "I'm sorry I'm not well to celebrate tonight. I'll make it up to you." Why did I even need that kind of reward? She claimed to be asexual, uninterested in intimacy. I respected that, suppressing my own urges. Every time she initiated something, I'd be thrilled for the entire day. Yet now, I know it was mere pity from her for my loyalty. Her indifference was only with me. To ensure Felix's child, she secretly gave me hormones to make me sterile. As Lily left, she gave me a quick look filled with sympathy. If I hadn't overheard their conversation, I'd never understand her expression. At night, after a shower, I read in bed. Lucy, in a seductive gown, brought me milk. She sat beside me and handed it over. "You've been reading all night. Rest with some milk." Looking at the frothy milk, my heart ached. In the past, her making milk every night seemed loving, something I even bragged about. Now I see it masked her deceit. She noticed my pause. "What's wrong?" "Milk should be drunk warm. Doctor's orders for your stomach. Drink it, all right?" As she pressed the cup to my lips, I knew she'd force it if I refused. Resigning, I drank it in one gulp. What once tasted sweet now felt like poison. My stomach churned, and I rushed to the bathroom to throw up. Lucy followed, gently rubbing my back. "Why are you vomiting?" When I looked back at her, she avoided my eyes, perhaps thinking my reaction was from the hormones in the milk. I don't know if it was because my mind was messed up or the meds kicking in, but I ran a 105.8 degrees Fahrenheit fever that night. I was totally out of it. Lucy was running around trying to bring my fever down, but my temperature wouldn't budge. With no other option, she decided to take me to the hospital herself. Halfway there, her phone rang. She saw the number and slammed the brakes, nearly causing my head to slam into the dashboard. What? Felix got drunk and started a fight? Realizing she spilled the beans, she glanced at me and, seeing my eyes were shut, sighed in relief. I'll be right there. She hung up and shook me awake. Honey, something urgent came up at work. I have to head back. You'll need to catch a cab yourself. Before I could even process, she got out, unbuckled my seatbelt, and practically pulled me out of the car. More like dragged me right out. Watching her drive off into the night, the red taillights disappearing, I felt a chill run through me. I made a call overseas. Mom, I'll agree to what's in Dad's will about the marriage alliance. Cancel my domestic identity. I'll be there in 3 days. I walked for over 10 kilometers with my high fever until I finally collapsed. When I came to, I realized someone had taken me to the hospital. It was already the next day. My mouth was dry. I reached for water but found no one by my side. A passing nurse poured me a warm cup. How are you out there with a fever like that? Lucky a passerby saw you and got you here. Your phone shows wife, but she kept hanging up when I called. Then her phone was off. Doesn't your wife care about you? I just gave her a bitter smile. I checked my phone and noticed a notification on social media. Felix had posted last night. Caption: I have no regrets meeting you. The grid was filled with live images of Lucy smiling and laughing. She looked so fondly at someone. Her engagement ring glaring back at me. Comments were buzzing. Felix, aren't you worried your wife will find out and divorce you? What are you talking about? Lucy is the real deal for Felix. Felix replied with a cheeky emoji. I've blocked the tiger at home. Keep it a secret, everyone. He blocked the current wife and my ex-fiancée Candy, but left it visible to me. Just as I was about to close the app, I realized Felix sent me a link. I accidentally opened it to find a couple's online journal, all filled with declarations of love, sharing intimate conversations. Thousands of pictures dating back 10 years. Scrolling through my phone, I could count on one hand the photos I had with Lucy over 5 years. Tried countless times for a photo together. She'd always refuse. But it wasn't the picture taking, it was the third person she couldn't fit in the space. I was just the unlucky fool in her world. I saved those photos and screenshots of Felix's post. Before discharge, I took a blood test, checked for hormone levels. When I got home, Lucy hadn't returned. The surveillance showed she never did. I looked at the crystal wedding photo on the wall. Has a crack right where Lucy and I were. I took it down just as my phone rang. Boss, don't forget about today's product launch. We need you there as our lead architect. Got it, I'll change and be there soon. At the event, I heard the host calling the person in charge to speak. As I adjusted my suit to step forward, Lucy stopped me. Howard, take a break, you were feverish. I had Felix cover for you. Confused, I noticed the faint hickey on her neck. She pulled her collar, a guilty look on her face. You know Felix needs to prove himself, he's new. You're well respected, you don't need the spotlight. Felix smirked at me as he passed by. You're a fool. Your fiancé's mine and soon your wife won't be yours either. Lucy's heart belongs to me. I stayed silent, but the old employees were whispering among themselves, clearly uncomfortable. Felix was confident, spitting out a speech to an applauding crowd. Lucy watched him with admiration, yet my heart was frozen. Felix was spewing words from my speech, which was locked in my drawer, only accessible by Lucy. My hard work was now Lucy's favor to Felix. As Felix finished and reporters swarmed, one asked, Felix, we hear that Howard's efforts made this car system a success. Thoughts? Felix shrugged it off. Takes a team, not just one person. Everyone contributed. With a few words, he belittled 5 years of my sleepless nights, the longest of which was a 20-hour shift. Each design, each version of the plan, I put my heart and soul into it. But what really gets to me is Lucy over there, clapping like crazy. Felix was delivering a great speech, being all humble and giving credit to the team. That's impressive. The moment Lucy caught my eye, her applause stopped cold. Howard, I didn't mean it like that. I know you're the real MVP here, she said. I looked at her, stone-faced. Lucy, you know how much this system means to me. I've been waiting for this day for 5 years. As Felix approached us, Lucy turned her attention to him, ignoring me completely. I'll make it up to you, I promise. Can we talk about this at home tonight? She said, as she seated Felix beside her. Later? Is there even a later for us? After Felix took his seat, some of my colleagues began speaking sarcastically on my behalf. Unbelievable. What kind of person is he? With such thick skin. Exactly. That's Howard's hard work he's claiming after being here for just a few days. I can't believe it. Everyone knows how hard Howard worked. Hearing these snarky remarks, Felix got teary-eyed and said to Lucy, if everyone hates me so much, I'll just leave. Then he bolted out, crying. Lucy shot me a glare. Did you put them up to this? Control your people. If they have nothing nice to say, they should shut up. She chased after him, drawing everyone's attention. To her, it seems like I'm always the one trying to trip Felix up. A month ago, Felix suddenly appeared as the tech director. He knew nothing about technology yet meddled with the tech department's designs, failed system tests, and delayed everything. Everyone blamed him, but Lucy chewed me out in her office. I can't believe how manipulative you've become, setting people against Felix because you're unhappy he's your boss. Does this have to do with him stealing your girl years ago? No matter how much I tried to explain, she refused to believe I wasn't behind it. Recently, Felix nearly crashed her car while on a business trip, and she blamed me. Because you were the last one to drive it, right? You knew there were issues and didn't say anything on purpose, hoping Felix would get hurt so you could savor that revenge. The way she looked at me, like I disappointed her, hurt worse than words could describe. So this time, I didn't bother explaining. 5 years into the company's inception, she never told anyone about us. Whenever I suggested making it official, she dodged, claiming the company policy forbade office romances. Eventually, I got numb and stopped bringing it up. After the new product launch, Lucy didn't show up, nor did she call. Instead, I got a video message from Felix. It was recorded in a car. Felix was all over Lucy, the two tangled up in the cramped space. Felix's voice teased, compared to that loser of yours, Lucy, who's better? Lost in bliss, she replied instinctively, of course, it's you. I love you. Only with you do I feel true pleasure. I expected I'd be furious watching this video. Yet, unbelievably, I felt calm. I saved every bit of footage from the dashcam. On the way home, I made a call to have someone investigate Felix because I refused to believe he genuinely loved Lucy. Once home, I promptly printed out our divorce papers and signed my name. Alongside it was my resignation letter and a USB drive with the videos, all packed into a manila envelope and sent to Lucy's office. That night, Lucy didn't come home, just texted, saying there was an issue with a client, and she'd have to travel for a couple of days. Take care of yourself at home. I'll bring you back a gift. I wasn't surprised by the message at all. First thing in the morning, Felix sent me another video. Tissues scattered, sheets in disarray. A delicate hand rested on the blanket. Lucy lay there, eyes shut in restful slumber. He taunted, Howard, Lucy looked so beautiful asleep. We went at it all night, used 7. Yeah, she was tired. He continued, Lucy promised, once she's back, she'll hand all your shares over to me. She even planned to buy me the priciest item at today's auction as a birthday gift. She wants our child, even came up with a name, Howard. Face it, she doesn't love you. Ignoring his taunts, I blocked him and continued packing. Spotting the drawer, I noticed the pile of similar watches and belts. Every trip, Lucy brought back these so-called gifts. Always the same stuff. Once, I joked, a CEO gifting her husband a $50 watch, that's stingy. She'd retort, it's the thought that counts. You should be grateful, don't push it. But since Felix joined, she'd showered him with luxury watches and cars. When I complained, she dismissed it with excuses. You're in tech, why the need to dress fancy? Techies usually dress plain. But Felix, he's an overseas returnee and our company's representative. Should dress well. No matter my grievances, she always found ways to brush me off. As I discarded these gifts into the trash, my phone vibrated nonstop. The company chat group was buzzing. Did you hear? Lucy shelled out $50 million for the priciest auction item. A gift for Felix's birthday. Oh my gosh. 50 mil? Lucy is way too generous. I also heard that Felix proposed to Lucy right there, and she was crying a river. She was so moved. Are you kidding me? I heard Felix is married. I glanced at my phone calendar. Today is my 5-year wedding anniversary with Lucy, but she's spending this anniversary with another guy, even giving him fancy gifts. I couldn't muster a hint of resentment deep inside. Since I'm leaving, why bother caring so much? With my luggage in hand, headed for the airport, I noticed the package's status. Out for delivery. I thought things should reach Lucy soon. Just as I was about to board, Lucy sent a message. Honey, I'm on my way back from a business trip. Got you something special. I'll run by the office real quick and then head home. Wait for me, okay? Meanwhile, 2 texts popped up on my phone. One was a cancellation reminder. Dear Howard, your identity has been successfully canceled. All associated documents and your phone number will no longer be valid. The other text was about the outcome of an investigation I requested. I gave it a quick look and sent it with a smirk to the company group. Turning off my phone, I stepped onto the boarding ramp. On the other side, Lucy and Felix just got back to the office. She glanced at the time and realized she hadn't had a meal with Howard lately, so she called her assistant. Book us a restaurant and call Howard. Tell him lunch is on me. Her assistant did as told. Lucy sat in her office, staring out at the blue sky, feeling good. She imagined Howard being overjoyed when he received the special gift she got him this time. But before she could smile, her assistant rushed in. Lucy, Howard's phone is disconnected. None of US can reach him. Also, we just got a package from him at the front desk. Before Lucy could react, Felix suddenly grabbed the package from the assistant and tore it open. Seeing the divorce papers inside, his eyes lit up. See, I told you Howard is just spoiled and arrogant, using divorce to threaten you. He placed the divorce papers on the desk, alongside a resignation letter and a USB drive. At the sight of the word divorce, Lucy's eyes widened, quickly picking it up to read. When she saw the words leave with nothing in the agreement, it felt like her brain exploded. She knew Howard had worked so hard over the years for a comfortable life. How could he leave behind billions in assets just like that? As she stared at the divorce papers in disbelief, Felix kept rambling. Howard's such a fool. He rose from a struggling programmer to a top tech executive thanks to you. Yet he's so childish, trying to threaten you with divorce. This is typical of him, playing hard to get. Is he still upset about yesterday's launch? So petty. But don't worry, Lucy. I guarantee he'll be back in half a day. Would he really leave a beautiful wife like you? And even if not for love, he'd stay for the money, right? Lucy didn't say anything, her hand shaking as she clutched the papers. Even now, she couldn't believe it was true. She suddenly felt Felix might be right. It had to be Howard playing hard to get. Putting everything back in the drawer, she coldly declared, "Fine, let's see how long he can hold out." She tried to sound confident, but inside she wasn't sure. The rest of the day, Lucy felt inexplicably anxious. In just an hour, she checked her watch more than 100 times, eyes glued to the office door. Every sound made her hope it was Howard returning. But as the sky darkened, Howard didn't show up nor make a call. Lucy felt a lingering unease because Howard never went more than 6 hours without contacting her. By 8 p.m., she couldn't resist calling Howard's phone. To her shock, just as the assistant said, the number was disconnected. How could that be? He had used this number for years. She tried again, same result. Suddenly, Lucy remembered she had Howard's social media login details. She entered the password, only to be met with a message. Account disabled. Her rising unease turned into panic as she tried several other accounts, even his bank app, with no success. She finally couldn't sit still, calling her assistant. Check Howard's identity info and see if he's bought any plane tickets. Not long after, her assistant returned, looking grim, reluctantly reporting, "Lucy, there's no record of Howard's identity or any flight info." Her mind buzzed as if struck by thunder. How? Only a dead person has no record. The assistant's next words sent more chills down her spine. Howard, he did get a death certificate. Cause of death: heart attack. Lucy was in complete chaos. She refused to believe a living person could get a death certificate. Suddenly, she remembered the USB in the drawer, hurriedly plugging it into her computer. After seeing the photos, the dashcam footage of her and Felix, she was ashen, collapsing in her chair. He knew everything, yet pretended nothing was wrong. Her heart ached deeply. Right then, a call from a friend came through. "Lucy, did Howard find out something? He had a blood test before leaving the hospital." Lucy finally realized, even drugging Howard couldn't be hidden. "Lily, Howard's gone. He sent me divorce papers. I can't find him anywhere," she said, crying. "Did you check at home?" Her best friend's words suddenly struck her. Right, how did I not think of that? Maybe he's just playing a joke on me. I need to go home and find him." Lucy wiped her tears away, didn't bother packing, and rushed out the door. But as soon as she stepped out of the office, she ran into Felix. He was holding a decorative box, wearing a mischievous grin as he looked at her. "Sweetheart, perfect timing. Guess what's in my hand?" He opened the box to reveal a set of sexy lingerie along with sheer stockings. "How about we try it in your office while nobody's around?" He grabbed Lucy's hand, but she shook him off hard. "Felix, can't you think of anything else at a time like this?" Felix was taken aback by her sudden outburst. Lucy had always been gentle with him, never raising her voice, let alone shouting. But tonight she was acting really strange. Okay, no trying. But do you remember you promised to go with me to that new restaurant?" Lucy just wanted to head home to find Howard, and dinner was the last thing on her mind. "I'm busy. You have a wife at home. Why not go find her?" When she tried to leave, Felix blocked her, looking at her suspiciously. "Are you worried about Howard? I've already told you he's not worth your concern. If he's really gone, wouldn't that be better? There'd be nothing standing between us." Felix wrapped his arms around her waist, one hand wandering as he whispered in her ear. "You once told me that being with me was the real joy. Let me show you right now." As he started to lift her skirt, suddenly everything went dark. A slap stunned him into silence. Lucy glared at him, her face dark. "I warn you. Harass me again and I'll report you for sexual harassment." With that, she rushed away in a hurry. Meanwhile, I had just gotten off a plane. I noticed not far away, a graceful woman waved at me, catching me off guard. She tidied her hair and approached me gracefully. "Are you here to pick me up?" I thought she had mistaken me for someone else and prepared to move on with my luggage. But she nodded, reaching out to shake my hand. "My name is Victoria. Originally, your mom was supposed to pick you up, but something came up, so she asked me to come. I saw your photos at her place. You're much more handsome in person, not like a typical tech guy." Her shy, blushing face made me smile, something I hadn't done in a while. "I didn't expect someone as beautiful as you." My compliment made her blush deeper, hesitant to meet my gaze. "Let's grab something to eat. I'm starving." Victoria nodded and drove me to a quiet cuisine restaurant. While waiting for our meal, we chatted casually, and I learned that she and my mom are really close. Our families go way back, not only in business but all the way to our grandfathers. Victoria smiled at me warmly and said you grew up locally and refused to go abroad. Even when your father passed, you only stayed a month after the funeral to accompany her, then returned with his ashes, giving up a billion-dollar heir identity just to be an average tech worker. I admire you for that. Though hearing that my marriage wasn't great, she expressed sympathy. I didn't hide my reasons for coming home after all. "So, despite knowing my situation, you still agreed to the arranged marriage?" She admitted to being heartbroken herself, saying we shared the same wounds. In that moment, I realized arranged marriages aren't always bad. When two people understand each other's pain, they might cherish each other more. In my world, Lucy was completely gone. Meanwhile, Lucy hurried back home. But no matter how hard she searched, Howard was nowhere to be found. In the cold, empty house, Howard's laughter echoed in her mind. She recalled his familiar scent of smoke, his warmth and tenderness when he held her. At that moment, she realized how much he truly meant to her. "Honey, could you really be so heartless as to abandon me? No matter where you are, even if it's at the ends of the earth, even if it costs me everything, I have to find you." The next day, as Lucy returned to work, her assistant was shocked to see her. It seemed like she'd aged a decade overnight. Her once dark hair was streaked with gray. Her exhausted face and bloodshot eyes showed how drained she was. "Call an emergency meeting." When all the employees were gathered, Lucy announced some big news. She planned to sell the company and use the money to find Howard. For the first time, she revealed to everyone that she and Howard were married. They were stunned. Lucy had hidden it so well for years, right under their noses. As she heard their whispers, Lucy wore a bitter smile. Only now did she understand the pain Howard felt, pretending to be just colleagues when they were husband and wife. While she flirted with Felix, even being called the other woman without a care. Back in the office, Felix stormed in angrily. "I'm against you selling the company." Lucy gave him a cold stare. "What right do you have to disagree?" Seeing her unhappy expression, Felix felt tense and quietly replied, "This company took so much effort to build. How could you sell it, especially for someone as useless as Howard?" Lucy sneered suddenly, pulling out her phone and showing him a document. "This was sent by an employee yesterday. Have a look." Felix nervously took the phone, nearly dropping it in shock. "Slander. This is total slander." Lucy threw another stack of documents in front of him. "I didn't believe it at first either, so I hired a private investigator. Want to know what I found out? You're a complete scoundrel. You didn't come back from overseas for me or even your wife, but because you're in deep debt with no way out. You embezzled millions from my company using my name. I also found out that 5 years ago, you broke up Howard and his former fiancée just because you were after her family's wealth. Once you wasted that, you turned your eyes on me. You plotted with our company's competitors to force Howard out, aiming to weaken the company by removing its tech genius, making it easy to suppress and acquire on the cheap, right?" Lucy's shouting left Felix speechless. "Lucy, let me explain." But before he could plead for Lucy to hear him out, an assistant rushed up. "Lucy, there are some dangerous-looking men outside asking specifically for Felix." When Felix heard this, panic struck him, and he dropped to his knees. "Lucy, you've got to help me. Those guys are ruthless. Please lend me some money." Seeing him crying miserably reminded Lucy of how he had used her for years. She felt a deep rage, wanting to tear him apart. She had lost tens of millions because of him. She had had multiple abortions because of him. And she lost the one who truly loved her because of him. She ordered security to throw Felix out. Hearing the cries outside, she felt nothing. "A month later, I got married to Victoria. We didn't invite too many people. It was just close family and friends. When it came to exchanging rings, suddenly a woman wearing a white wedding dress burst into the ceremony despite the security's efforts to stop her. "Husband, you can't marry her. Let's get married again, and this time, I'll truly love you." Lucy, with tears in her eyes, stumbled and cried as she ran toward me. Everyone was looking at me, including Victoria, as if to see what choice I'd make. But I didn't spare Lucy a glance and slipped the ring onto Victoria's finger. "You're the woman I choose for life, and I'll love you forever." "No, you don't love her. How long have you known her? We were married for 5 years. I'm the one you love." Lucy charged up the steps, pushing Victoria aside, clutching my hand, and staring into my eyes. "Husband, I know you're upset about how I treated you. I was wrong, and I'm back. That bastard Felix has nothing now. I forced him to return what he took from me and cut ties with him. I sold the company, spent all my savings, took a month to find you, and even wore a wedding dress today to remarry you and start over. Please give me another chance?" I pulled away from her grasp, shielding Victoria behind me while shaking my head. "There's no possibility. From the day you drugged me and the moment you cheated with Felix, we've been strangers. I signaled to security, who then charged forward. Lucy struggled desperately. No, I don't want to leave you. Husband, I know you still love me. Seeing that I wasn't moved, she grabbed a sharp fork and held it to her throat. Choose me or her. I ignored her threats and held Victoria's hand. Like I said, she is my one and only wife. Your life or death means nothing to me. Lucy couldn't believe it, crying and shaking her head. She never believed I could be so heartless. But when she hurt me, did she ever think of any past affection? I was only repaying in kind. Understanding my resolve, Lucy eventually stopped struggling, leaving behind divorce papers as she exited in sorrow. Regarding the fact that the drugging might have left me infertile, I told Victoria about it before we got married. But she didn't mind at all. I may not have known you long, but from the moment I met you, I knew you were the one. Even if we can't have kids, what's the big deal? Though she said she didn't care, I knew every woman dreams of becoming a mother. Over the next year, I sought out great doctors and finally found a solution. On our first anniversary, Victoria joyfully announced she was pregnant, and we cried tears of happiness. When I returned home to honor my father and share the news, I ran into old colleagues. We chatted at a coffee shop. Initially, they were cagey, not mentioning anything about Lucy, until eventually someone couldn't hold back. They told me Lucy was imprisoned. When she came back from abroad, she discovered she was pregnant with Felix's child. Felix, having multiple offenses, was divorced by his ex-wife and pathetically begged Lucy for forgiveness. Considering she was carrying his child and being rejected coldly by me, she reluctantly stayed with him in despair. But what she didn't expect was Felix, for money, forced her into prostitution and drugged her. She awoke naked in some stranger's bed, and the pregnancy resulted in a miscarriage. At the hospital, she was not only diagnosed with a disease, but also told she'd never be able to bear children. That final straw broke everything inside her. One night, as Felix slept, she stabbed him through the heart, chopped him to bits, and then turned herself in, calmly waiting for the police to arrive. But just a day before I returned to the country, she died, worn down by illness and multiple abortions. As I listened to what happened, I just took a sip of my coffee, the bitterness more intense. After paying respects to my father, on my way back to the States, I saw Lucy's best friend. Howard, you must have heard what happened to Lucy. She left you a letter she wrote in prison. She wanted me to tell you that she's always loved you deeply, but by the time she realized her mistakes, it was too late. She regrets the hurt she caused and wishes to be your wife in another life. I just smiled lightly and used a lighter to burn the unopened letter. Another life? I only believe in this one.